Glenn Youngkin, he won this surprising upset. He was a total newcomer running against this Democrat, basically royalty. But this untold story here, I think, was Glenn Youngkin's running mate, and that is Winsome Sears. She was the first woman and the first woman of color to be the lieutenant governor here in Virginia. And she's also the first Black woman elected to statewide office here in Virginia. So why is she being ignored by the liberal media for the most part, both for her place in history and her ideology? I mean, it was to me bizarre. It was this twilight zone, how it was all the channels, CNN, MSNBC, and then I looked at also the Black press, a lot of media outlets that are geared toward Black audiences. It's like they just wanted to talk about Trump and Youngkin, and Youngkin is the Delta variant of Trump, and that they're white supremacists, and that's why they won, is because it's a bunch of white supremacist parents who are all racist, completely ignoring this woman who, on her acceptance speech, talked about the problems with CRT and talked about how we need to talk about the racial progress we've made in this country. We can't ignore it.
No, I agree. And as I recall, I think a Latino was also elected Secretary of State in Virginia. Isn't that correct?
Attorney General Jason Miyares.
Attorney General.
Latino.
My bad. But my point is, so again, see, to answer your question, people of color, minorities doing well in the GOP, that doesn't fit the narrative, right? It's like there are certain things, like I've said, that this comes to racism, to relations, to a lot of things. And I think that the media doesn't want to focus on the fact that, again, if people talk about the issues and they appeal to what voters want to hear, it doesn't matter what party they're in, and it doesn't matter what race they are. It doesn't matter what gender they are. And that's what was proved in this election. And, again, I've said this before, I'm like a broken record. I thought the Dems had this in 2018. This is when they talked about kitchen table issues, and they won 41 seats in the House, and they got 18 more million votes for in Senate races. And then in 2020 and this year, it's all fallen apart. Now, Terry McAuliffe is a sort of has-been politician who I don't think ever considered sending any of his kids to public school. So he was a pretty easy candidate. And when he won in 2013, his opponent, Cuccinelli, was not an impressive candidate. But that doesn't take anything away from Youngkin. He ran a flawless campaign, and he deserves to be credited for it. And I think it's going to give him a great platform from which to govern. And frankly, I hope it's a paradigm that the party will use. Voters are much more pragmatic than we give them credit for. Well, and particularly Black voters, particularly Latino voters. We get back to this bigotry of soft bigotry of low expectations. They don't want to talk about reparations. They want to talk about jobs. They want to talk about education. They want to talk about opportunities in their neighborhoods. That's what they want to talk about. And if you talk to them about education, kitchen table issues, they're going to vote for you. And so I think this is actually a plus. And of course, this is my glass is always half full. But this is a warning shot across the Democrats' bow for 22. There's still time for them to start talking about issues that people want to talk about. It's not complicated, folks. Okay? And so I think this can be viewed as a positive, but it's certainly good for the Dems. Though I will say this is the first time when, in a year after the presidential election, when the Republicans didn't win both Virginia governor and New Jersey governor. I think Phil Murphy's squeaked it out.
Yes. One little note I would say, perhaps the glass is just too big.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe that's true. Well, gosh, folks, it's been great having you on another episode of Practically Political. I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Carrie Sheffield. Great to have you. Make sure to follow us on social media, and we will catch you next time.